Welcome to What Self-Care Looks Like. I'm your host, Brittany Elliott. It may be hard to hear, but self-care is not spa days, a weekend getaway, or brunch with your bestie. True self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness, and it lives within your daily routine. I'm a self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. Let's get back to you. Hey, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I am Brittany Elliott, and my mission is to help you rediscover your identity and reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. I am the author of What Self-Care Looks Like and the creator of Back to You in 5. And Back to You in 5 is all about you getting back to you by focusing on 5 wellness points and 5 mindset shifts to get you focused on building a self-care routine that's built around 5-minute activities. So that's the spiel. If you are new here, welcome. And if you've listened to an episode in the past, welcome back. Today, I'm going to talk about some back to school things. So this is my back to school playbook for moms, a simple supportive guide to reclaim your time, energy, and peace this season. I did the work this time and scripted this out. I want to make sure I don't miss anything this episode because this topic is actually pretty important to me. And so I am going to be bouncing back from little anecdotes to back to my notes just so that I make sure that I get all of this information to you that you need. But this was inspired by a blog post I wrote be a few years ago now, because it was right before my daughter was going into kindergarten and me just preparing for that and the shift that was coming. And in reflecting on that, now that my daughter's getting ready to go to 2nd grade, I thought, what would have been like really nice things for this time of year when we're gearing up for back to school to really guide moms into preparing for that and being, really mindful about it and not getting overwhelmed about what's upcoming, but just, facing it. And last week I talked about being present and still knowing that you should loosely plan for things, but, still be in the present. So this is going to help you really maintain that energy as we go into back to school. And then next week's episode, I'm pretty excited about because I interviewed a pediatrician and she is telling us all about what to put in our medicine cabinets, what types of germs the kids are exposed to when they go back to school, when to take your children to the doctor, when you should treat them at home. So I'm really, really looking forward to that episode. But first, we're going to just talk about some back to school things. And I wanted to share just a fun thing that happened to me, which might be showing my age because I was just excited that I got a new vacuum. So I had a like the cordless vacuum that I really wanted it, and my husband got me one like years ago, and I'm pretty sure they're kind of expensive. I don't know. I never priced them. I just asked for it and it appeared, but I'm pretty sure they're pricey. Probably got it about 5 years ago and it just stopped working. Just decided it doesn't want to work well anymore. So if you're really doing a big vacuum job, that's not the one that you want to use. But if it's something super quick, maybe. But oddly enough, he won a vacuum like last Christmas at his job. And I told him we should donate it or re-gift it. And he was like, oh no, we'll just keep it. Well, worked out because we ended up needing it. But the super fun thing about it is it has like a retractable cord. And I was like, oh, that is so nice that I don't have to do the like rolly uppy thing with the cord. Now, this could have been a new thing that vacuums have been doing for a while, but since I've been cordless for the past 5 years, I did not know that. So I was excited. Okay, so let's get into this back to school playbook. Hey, it's Brittany here, your host of the show, and I'd like to invite you to grab your copy of my book, What Self-Care Looks Like. It's the roadmap for working moms who want to prioritize their self-care and rediscover the joy in their motherhood experience. It's a must-read for any mom who has felt lost, unseen, or unsure along her motherhood journey. Buy it today at www.whatselfcarelooks.com. So I broke this down into 7 tips, I guess. So as we're preparing to get our kids into school, and maybe it's not back to school, maybe it's school for the first time. When you think about rebuilding your self-care routine, so choose one small practice that will be a non-negotiable for you to do every day. So what is going to be that go-to self-care activity? And remember, self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness, and I'm all about pushing you to do that every single day, which is why I focus on simple 5-minute activities that you can just do and get done, but they really do help improve your overall wellness. And journaling is one thing that's really good. It has a really high impact for you to do some reflection or set your intentions for the day through journaling, but also it doesn't take that long. You can also do like really short workouts or meditation or stretching in the mornings or to ground yourself before you go to bed. Those are things you can do as well. But remember that your overall wellness is really important to you feeling whole as a mother. So our wellness points are social wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, and intellectual wellness. So those are the 5 wellness points that help you feel the most whole. And there are activities that go into each wellness point to help you feel supported. I actually sent those out this week in an email. So if you're not part of my email newsletter, make sure you get signed up at backtune5.com/mom. I kind of want to look at that real quick so I can tell you exactly what I wrote out, but I won't for the sake of time. But here are some simple examples: doing a morning stretch, journaling, taking an afternoon walk, doing something to wind yourself down in the evening. Keep it simple. Make sure that it's an activity that you can stay consistent with. And if you're just starting your self-care routine, I do really want you to focus on doing things that are simple and just focusing on 5 minutes or 10-minute intervals, because you will get overwhelmed if you overcommit yourself. If you say, I am going to start working out 3 days a week for an hour a day, as soon as you miss one day, you're going to feel like, oh, this isn't working. I can't fit this in my life. And you're not going to go backwards after that. You're not going to say, oh, well, I'll do 5 minutes instead. No, you need to start building up small wins into your self-care routine. So just start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I have come a long way in my self-care journey. It started with really just spending 5 extra minutes in the shower to decompress. But it was like a forced thing because I could hear my daughter out. Sometimes she would be like screaming because she wanted me, but my husband had her because I'm like trying to shower. So I had this urge to jump out of the shower and get her. And I really had to basically relearn how to be okay just with myself, with my thoughts, and trusting in my husband to be able to take care of things. And he was 100% capable for me to take, a shower. And it started with that. And then I reintegrated a skincare routine into my morning and evening routine. And then I started wearing a little bit more makeup to feel like me, when I went to work or just went out and about anywhere. Then I started working out, and my workouts were really like cardio focused. But then after I got used to that, then I started doing more weight training. And so now my fitness routine looks way different from what it did 5 years ago. I mean, just the other day, I was outside in the backyard and I was lifting weights, just doing like a full body, like weight circuit basically outside in the backyard while my daughter was just out there like doing backflips and stuff and just dancing around and being fun and silly. But I would have never done that before. I would have never taken the time to do that. And now I wear like this weighted vest while I'm on my stepper. And it's gotten a lot more intense because it feels so good to my body. Like I like how it feels, but also it's just become so ingrained in my routine. So that's number one, rebuild your self care routine. Number two, I want you to map out what I would call your weekly rhythm. So, really anchor your days. So, for example, Mondays are going to be the days that you meal plan and uh, do your grocery order. Tuesdays will be for laundry. Wednesdays will be when you do the check in on school tasks or look to the week ahead for appointments and such. Maybe Saturdays are going to be like a chore day or household tasks. Sundays, maybe that's going to be when you are picking out school clothes for the week. So choosing a day, and again, I want you to be flexible in your planning because, of course, something can happen Tuesday night, for example, and you're like, oh, I can't get to the laundry today. But at least you know that every week your plan is to get home from work for the day and do laundry or start your day doing a load of laundry so that you don't get behind and everything gets loaded into the weekend when you're trying to spend time with your family. If you're going to do maybe some light cleaning or maybe deep cleaning on Saturdays, maybe you're going to do a cadence of every other week so that you're not just every Saturday giving all of your time to cleaning and maintaining the house. Or maybe you've outsourced your house cleaning, which I highly recommend. And maybe that's going to happen on Saturdays. So just really anchor some tasks to each day so that you are really just well planned and mapped out, especially as we are approaching back to school, because I know I kind of hinted at next week's episode where we're talking about germs. Our kids are going to be getting back into school and they're probably going to have like those colds and things early on, and then we'll be in like holiday season and things will just get busier with that, and then it's going to get darker and all of that. So if you just have a plan now, you'll be able to make adjustments and be flexible as needed. Number three, create your morning and evening flow. So maybe in the evening you decide that's when you're going to pack lunches and just like book bags in your bag for work, or you're going to lay out clothes. Although you could do it the night before, I like to pick out the clothes like for the entire week, um, because I hang all my daughter's clothes on the back of her door, and then I set mine out on like my little ottoman thing, typically for the week. But however you want to do it, laying it out the night before works as well. Review your schedule for the next day. That can be what you do in the evening. And then in the mornings, maybe you're focused on having some quiet time, really like protecting your peace, basically. So having some quiet time, listening to a nice playlist to get you ready for the day, enjoying your coffee while it's hot. Um, just avoiding as much chaos as possible in the morning. And if you have a toddler, I know that can be really tough because toddlers can be pretty erratic in the morning. You can go through maybe 3 out of the 5 school days. Let's say you have a toddler and like an older child. 3 out of the 5 days, a toddler is just like chilling, but 2 of the days, maybe they're like super manic or, didn't sleep well or whatnot. So be mindful of that. Avoid chaos as much as possible. And I'm speaking from the perspective of you, the mom, but please don't ever discount, you know, dad has responsibilities and duties too. And definitely them pitching in with a lot of this stuff will help you give some of your time back for your self-care and for your flow and for the rhythm. It's just for me, when my daughter was younger, my husband worked really, really early in the morning. So I always did morning routine. So having these things in place really helped me out in the morning because I was on my own because he left well before we even woke up. Now he does morning routine, but he works nights. So he does morning routine and I'm on my own at night. So there are just different systems that I have to set up in my life because of our work schedules. And so some of this may resonate with you. If you and your spouse work like the same hours, then you can kind of create a system where either maybe you're going back and forth. Maybe when you anchor your days, maybe Tuesdays dad does laundry while you do meal prep or something like that. Number 4 is to build your village. So write down now, ahead of school, who you can call for help. So this is beyond your emergency contacts or the emergency contacts that school would call, like in the case of an emergency. But I just want you to write down a list of people who you can lean on and depend on because you don't need to do this alone. And I know sometimes you may be in a situation where you don't live near family. So you have to get a little more creative with how this looks. Maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's your kids' friends' parents and things like that. But just write down your list of folks. I have a few people that I like who I know I can call and they'll help us out. One of my daughter's friends, they live right around the corner from us. We're friends with his parents as well. And there have been times where they'll text and call us in the morning and say, hey, on your way in, can you actually take our son with you and do drop off because they have a younger daughter as well, but something happened and it would just help them out if we could just take him with us or bring him home with us and vice versa. So just identify who your village is and perhaps what type of help you may need from them when we get into the school year. Number 5, I want you to audit your mental load. I want you to break down what's currently on your mind, even things that are maybe making you a little bit anxious about getting back to school because the school year can be busy. They're sending out their school supply list, the spirit weeks are coming up. Got to plan carpools, doctor's appointments, who's going to take them to the doctor. You're preparing for the fact that they're probably going to get sick more often. So offload or delegate as many tasks as possible. I would say start with one task per day, if possible, or just like one thing you can offload each week. But take the time to audit your mental load. You can do this through the mental load reset that I created. That's it's $15. It has an audit tool where it's lists a lot of tasks, basically like a walkthrough and a checklist and some reflection to really see what's in your mental load. Because a lot of times what happens is we know that there's a lot going on in our brain, but we can't verbalize it. So it's just several pages of tasks and worries and concerns and different things like that to go through to help you kind of clear things out. And there's also like a video walkthrough, like a little training, which is it's kind of similar to this style here where I'm talking to you, but we actually work through the audit together. So I'm doing it and you can do it along with me. So you could do it that way. Or you can set it up on your own and just write it out in your journal or notebook. The next one, number 6, is to set some boundaries with the notifications that you're going to get from school, extracurricular activities, and things like that. You and your spouse can decide like who is going to be the point of contact for things. For us, my husband is the point of contact for school. Most things go through him. When he picks up my daughter from school, they go through her folder. They go through her book bag and get everything together that she'll need for the next day. So if there's homework, he starts that with her. If Spirit Week is coming up, he has that set out for me and he's looking to see like, oh, do we have something that she fits from last time? What are the dates for this? And we're putting it on our shared family calendar, which I didn't write about that, but I'm going to talk about that here. So, having shared resources for communication within your home is very important. So, this could be a whiteboard in on the refrigerator in the kitchen. This could be a board that you have in the family room, like a cork board or something, somewhere where it's high traffic area so everybody can see it, so that everybody knows what's going on and what needs done. Everyone now for my family includes our daughter as well because she can read. And so when she walks by and she sees something written down, she'll ask, when is this? Or, how many days do I have until this? So she's involved too. And so everyone knows where everyone needs to be on a specific day, which is really nice. If you have like a kindergartner or you're just starting pre-K, it would just be you and your spouse. Or if you do like a shared calendar in your phone, it can be you and the other people you have in your village, whether it's your parents, your in-laws, a neighbor, a friend who's also helping out. It's just really nice to have all of that in one location. My brother, he has two sons. That's my older brother. My younger brother has a daughter, but my older brother, they go to school all year and they live in North Carolina. They do the all year school thing. So they have track out times where they taking like breaks that are longer than what our breaks would be. So every year I ask him to send me that schedule so then I can start to coordinate anytime when the kids are off at the same time so that we can go down for a visit or they can come up for a visit or maybe we can meet somewhere and hang out. Because even though we can't see each other every day because we don't live close, I still consider him part of my village. There are still people that we want to see. So I get all that from them at the beginning of the year. Try to stay out of group texts that you don't need, Slack groups and stuff in the school that are going to be messy. If it's important in the school, they should be contacting you through their official form of contact. Or you can have, like I was talking about my daughter's friends' parents, maybe they are involved in the group and you don't have to do it. So for me, I can't deal with some of the stuff that goes on in those group chats. Some of it is just petty and just things I don't have time for. And it's like all day at work, I'm getting notifications because someone's mad about something that they did at school, drop off or this and that. Like, I don't have time for that. And I don't want the stress of that. I don't want that insignificant thing to be something that I'm now worried about and now carrying in my mental load. So if someone else is in the group and maybe that doesn't bother them, if anything important comes up, they know to tell me about it. Otherwise, I'm not in it. So just set boundaries with that stuff, be mindful. Maybe if you join the school page and it's getting a little messy, just jump out of it. Just try to make your days as blissful as possible. There was another thing that I wanted to say. Oh, with the spirit weeks. So don't feel obligated to participate in everything that's happening at the school. I was surprised by the amount of things that happen at school, from spirit weeks to parent teacher conference to activities that are happening after school, and not surprised in a bad way because some of the things are like very enriching programs and different things that they offer at the school, but it can be very time consuming. Like sometimes of the year it's like you can be at the school 2 and 3 times per week and it's a lot. And last year we did the science fair for the first time. I'm probably not going back to that this year because it was a lot of work. We had to do the project at home and then we had to go to the school and it was just a lot. And that's not me complaining because I'm happy to do it and I'm an active participant in my daughter's life. It's just sometimes life gets busier. Like, I feel like our lives are bigger than work and school. So life, the joys of life and the things that we're trying to experience and take our daughter to experience just get bigger than that. So then when you have to be here, there, and everywhere, it just gets to be a lot. So I just want to give you permission, if you'd like it, to say no sometimes. So if you don't want your child to participate in a spirit week, when they're doing like wacky Wednesday and dress like a reindeer and all this stuff, you don't have to. There have been plenty of times that I send my daughter to school in the spirit week thing, and I ask, "Oh, were other people in your classroom dressed up?" She's like, "Oh no, everybody else forgot." So I thought I'm sending her so that she doesn't feel left out, but then no one else did it. And so she doesn't quite feel left out, but it really wasn't a big deal. So I think a big part of you rediscovering your identity and reclaiming joy in your motherhood experience is to ground yourself in what your values are and what's important to you, and to not get caught up in what other people may think, or the optics of you not participating in a spirit week, or not joining the PTA, or not being the parent who does drop off or pick up. If you're focused on your child being safe, happy, and loved, you doing that on your terms should be good enough. So I want you to have the permission to just be okay if your life looks a little bit differently from someone else's, because that's okay too. Okay, so the final little tip I would say is for you to anchor your intention. So set a theme for the new year, like for the school year. So it can be just one word that you pick. It could be ease or joy or boundaries or focus, and do things that align with that theme. So if you just anchor yourself in that and always reflect and go back to that, that would be very helpful. I used to do like a lot more of these vision board workshops. One of the workbooks that I offer, it's a vision board workbook that walks you through how to create a vision board, why they're important, and has all the clip art and everything in there. But it could be helpful for you to create a vision board, like your back to school vision board, so that even if it's for the entire house, like, this is how we want things to go. Definitely get your children involved. Like, hey, this is why bedtime routine is important. So establish that in your routine. This is what time we are going to sleep. Even when my daughter was younger, I had like this page with just clip art on it, so that she knew at night what to do. It was like there was a picture of a toothbrush, so she knew like these are things I have to do: brush my teeth, grab my pajamas, take my bath, and all that stuff, so that she still had autonomy on what she had to do. She could pick whatever order that she wanted to do things, but she went through and crossed off every time she did the thing each night. So you can do things like that. Same within the morning, like, hey, alarms go off at this time, we are getting up. Just setting your intentions. This is why we get up at this time. We're going to eat a good breakfast. Or if your kid on the bus, like, we're going to get going on the bus. We're going to get moving. We're all going to work as a unit as you're preparing for the school year. So I just wish you a very simple and fulfilling school year. Not just this one, but beyond. But I know it can be tough, especially because things get busier, and maybe at work at this time of year it also gets busy. So it's just a lot of conflicting things, a lot of conflicting priorities, and on top of that, it starts to get cold. So a large part of the school year, like, it's cold and it's getting dark early, and that can be tough. So I want you to know that I'm here to support you and I see you. Motherhood is full, but it doesn't have to be chaotic. You deserve a rhythm that supports you too. So if you're interested in personalized support, you can always book a session with me at backtoin5.com. Check out the resources that I have available there. And until next time, I will talk to you very, very soon. Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you learned at least one thing you can implement into your daily routine. To connect with me, follow at backtoyouin5 on Instagram. If you're feeling generous, share this episode with a mom you know and subscribe to the show. I appreciate your support. Remember, motherhood is a journey, not a destination. Grow through it and enjoy the view.